Hi everyone, welcome to the Looms video helping you connect AC cables with SolShare 2. Always consult the SolShare installation manual for more information.
Let's start by preparing the required tools and supplies. Other tools from a standard solar installation toolkit will also be required. For safe and easy maintenance, SolShare requires dedicated isolation from each flat. A lockable enclosure should be installed below that houses an MCB for each connected output. The MCB must be rated to the full per-phase output of the inverter. Install the enclosure directly below or adjacent to SolShare, adhering to all clearances. Label each MCB in the enclosure with the flat or landlord supply it will connect to. Open SolShare's installation cover using a 4mm hex key to unscrew the two screws on the front of SolShare. Inspect SolShare for damage before continuing. Ensure no dust, debris, or water enters SolShare while the installation cover is open. Remove plugs from any holes on the bottom of SolShare that will be used for cable entry. Install suitable glands/plugs for all cable entry holes to maintain the IP65 rating of SolShare for dust and water protection for all installation locations. The supplied plugs may be used for any unused cable entry holes. The SolShare uses a single neutral, which must connect directly to the building's main neutral in the MSDB, commonly known as a BEMCO unit or Ryefield board. It is vital that this does not connect to an individual flat's neutral. Connect earth from main earth terminal to SolShare earth bar, and the neutral into the terminal block labelled main N. Terminate the connections from the inverter in SolShare. Remember that the maximum continuous power into SolShare is 10 kVA per phase. Exceeding this may cause damage to SolShare. Terminate the AC cable from the maintenance isolation board to the SolShare output terminals. Ensure there is at least one connection per phase within the SolShare, and double check that each phase matches the label on its corresponding output terminal. Ensure all cables are clearly labelled at both ends. All cables must be sized to handle at least the full per-phase output of the inverter. Run the cables from the maintenance isolation to each flat's solar point of connection. Typically, the solar point of connection will be close to the flat's electricity meter as possible. The suggested connection method will vary depending on the electricity meter's location. We will now walk you through both suggested methods of connection. When electricity meters are located inside the flats, the typical connection method is via the consumer unit. Inside the flat, route your SolShare supply cable through a rotary isolator. This allows the consumer unit to be isolated safely. Inside the consumer unit, connect the solar feed to an MCB rated for the per-phase generation of the inverter. The MCB must be installed before any RCD, as a single live connection would cause the RCD to operate. When electricity meters are located outside the flats, for example grouped in risers or a plant room, the solar point of connection can be made before the consumer unit. This saves on cable runs and reduces need for flat access. We suggest using the SolShare fused isolator board. This unit contains the appropriate fusing and cable protection to keep the installation safe and simple, and is available pre-built from selected wholesalers. Connect the meter tails into the top of the two-pole isolators. Then, take the SolShare supply cable and connect it to the MCB, ensuring the MCB is rated for the per-phase generation of the inverter. Finally, run the supply to the flat by connecting the live to the top of the fuse and the neutral to the bottom of the main switch. Repeat the solar point of connection method for every connected flat or landlord.